Hi folks, my name is Garrett, and I'm here to introduce some exciting new improvements to our Overpass platform. We've heard your requests for more convenience, control, and transparency around the invoicing process for your agent's weekly compensation. Starting on August 9th, 2021, Overpass clients will be able to make adjustments and approve weekly invoices directly within our site. Additionally, this same page will contain a history of your past invoices. We have three primary goals with this update. First, you'll have more direct control over making adjustments to your agent's compensation, including commissions, and those adjustments will be easier and faster to make. Secondly, you'll have access to your previous invoices for comparison's sake and record keeping. And thirdly, because approvals will be processed more quickly, we anticipate fewer delays in terms of making sure that all agents are paid on time every week. Before we look at the new page itself, you need to be aware that in addition to these new features, our Invoice Timeline is also changing. Previously, our billing team sent invoices on Tuesdays, and you were asked to let us know of any changes by end of day Wednesday. This is no longer the case. Going forward, you will receive your weekly invoice at midnight on Sunday night. So if you're not a night owl, you'll see it first thing Monday morning. You'll receive an email letting you know that a new invoice is available, or you can simply log in to overpass.com to view it. From that point, you have 48 hours to review your invoice, make any necessary alterations or adjustments, and then approve it. This means you have all day Monday and all day Tuesday to complete this step. If the invoice is not approved by Tuesday at midnight, however, it will auto-approve, at which point no further changes can be made. Again, just to reiterate, you will have 48 hours in full to review and adjust your weekly contractor invoice, but if you do not approve it within that time frame, we will automatically approve it Tuesday at midnight. Now, let's see how this feature looks and functions. As we mentioned, when a new invoice is available, Sundays at midnight, you'll receive an email letting you know. Opening that email shows you the total of your invoice and also provides a link to the invoice itself. Clicking the blue Invoice History button will bring you directly to that page within the platform. So let's do that now. Notice that the button within the email has brought us to the Workforce section within the Overpass site. So just to backtrack for a moment, even if you don't use the email button, or if you happen to miss the notification, you can still access this information simply by logging into Overpass, selecting Workforce, and then selecting Invoice History. Additionally, if I click back to our dashboard, whenever there is a new invoice that requires your attention, we'll show this button in the Shortcuts section. So you have three different ways to access this information. Regardless of how you get here, when you reach the Invoice History page, we're going to spotlight the data from your most recent pay period. This is your current invoice to be reviewed and approved. The pay rate shown here is taken directly from your official Overpass contract, and the hours worked are based on exactly how long your agents were logged into the site and actively working during this most recent pay period. So in this example, my contractor, Alex Ample, has worked for 1 hour, 16 minutes at a pay rate of $10 an hour, so he's owed $12.78 for this week's pay. Obviously, folks, this is just some sample data. We realize that in real life, you'll probably be working with some much larger numbers. If you do have multiple agents working at once, we will total those hours and also display the processing fee. Now, as you review this data, you may need to adjust some agents' hours up or down. Perhaps you know that your team did some extra work that they forgot to log, and so you want to add that time to make up the difference. Or maybe they accidentally left themselves logged into Overpass for too long, so you need to remove some hours to get back to the agreed total. Either way, notice that if you erase the value in the total hours worked field, we'll still show the original number of hours in a light gray font, so that if you did erase those by accident, you can still see what the official count from our side was. If you do adjust a contractor's hours, we'll show a new field labeled Reason so that you can describe why this adjustment was necessary. This field is mandatory, although your description can be brief. Just a few words is fine, so we have some context. This helps our billing team out, but is also useful for your own records. This page also now allows you to add any commissions or other bonuses to your agent's payment. When you add a commission or bonus, you'll again have the option to provide context in the Reason field, although it's not mandatory. You only need to describe the reason for the commission if it's useful for your purposes. If you happen to update an agent's contract partway through a payment period, you'll see two entries on this page for the same person. One entry for the hours worked under the previous rate, and a second entry for hours worked under the new updated rate. I also want to mention that we do have a more detailed version of your agent's hours, which you can download to your computer as a spreadsheet, using this download button that appears next to the Invoice History header. This will generate a spreadsheet, either in Excel or CSV format, which breaks down your contractor's time both by the individual days that they worked, as well as the specific categories of that time. For instance, how many hours were spent actively working versus time spent on break or in training. Once you have reviewed the invoice and made any necessary adjustments, simply click the Approve Invoice button to let us know that everything is correct. As we mentioned earlier, if you do not approve this invoice by Tuesday at midnight, it is automatically approved and you will no longer be able to make changes. Going forward, all of your approved invoices will appear in the lower portion of this page, initially collapsed as shown here, but you can click on any individual invoice to expand. Please note that we will only be showing invoices from payment periods from August 2021 onward. But if you do require a copy of an invoice from earlier this year, just reach out to our team by sending an email to billing@overpass.com. I also want to mention that this page is fully supported on all tablets and mobile devices, so you can always access and approve these payments even if you're on the go. Finally, I wanted to let you know that while we're very proud of this new page, this is only the beginning of our planned improvements to the billing and invoicing process. We do have additional improvements that we want to implement in the future, and I'm sure many of you have ideas and suggestions for features you might like to see as well. As always, we love to hear from you, so if you have any ideas, questions, or suggestions about invoicing or anything else, just send us an email to help@overpass.com or send us a message through our chat channel in the lower left corner of the Overpass site. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, thanks for understanding, and thanks for being part of the Overpass community. You'll see your first new invoice under our new system this upcoming Sunday.